Hi, I'm Debbie Littledeer, and I'm on the way to the studio. So we live in the South Toe River Valley at the base of the Black Mountains in North Carolina, and this is our view every day. So this is my daily commute on the ferry trail. There's some little ferry houses to invite the ferries in. And there's the studio. Mr. Chin. Hi. So I'm in my window seat. This is where a lot of the important work gets done. The thoughts on new designs and daydreams and looking through pictures and writing in my journal and drawing little sketches and hanging out with Mr. Chin again. Chinny, look at the camera. Hi. So thanks for spending a little time with us today. When I get ready to work on a design, I go through my old sketchbooks and pull out drawings that I've done and photographs and watercolors, and then I decide on the picture. And then I take the design and I divide it up into flat layers of color. And here's a sketch I did for an 8-color print. So it can be very complicated or it can be very simple. And this is what this flat design ended up looking like in a silkscreen when I was done. So today, to make things a little more simple, I'm going to work on this 3-color small design so we can kind of get an idea of how it goes. Now I'm going to show you how I cut my stencils for my silkscreen prints. I lay the film on top of my design, and this is an example of a stencil I've already cut, and I cut around the edges of where I want the film to be open and peel this green film off of this acetate backing. So it looks like that. So this is a little print that's going to have 3 colors. And this is the first one. This is the second stencil for the mountain. And now I'm getting ready to cut the stencil for the trees and the owl silhouette. So I take my film and I tape it down. And then I take my very tiny X-Acto knife and I start going around the edges of the part that I want to be open. So after I cut my stencils, I adhere the first one onto the silk screen. And the silk screen is this metal frame with fabric stretched across it. And they used to use silk, and that's how it got its name, silk screen printing or serigraphy, which is French for writing in silk. So you see my stencils attached here. While that was drying, I went through and I cut all my papers. And this is going to be a small edition of 50. So I cut about 60 sheets of paper because you always want to cut some extra for mistakes. And I mixed my inks. So I just mix up different shades of blue and black and purple and green to get my 3 colors for my print. And I did a little rough painting just so I have the idea about the colors. After I get the inks mixed, the stencil adhered, and the paper cut, I go back through and I register my stencil. So I take my original design and I line it up underneath the stencil, and I tape these little clips around the edges so that the stencil lines up exactly with the design. So when I get ready to print the next color, it will come out in the right place on top of this color. Okay, so we're ready to print. Got my ink all mixed. I take my first piece of paper and I put it underneath my silk screen, my little registration guides. And then this is my squeegee. I take some spoonfuls of ink. Since this is such a small print, I don't need a whole lot. That will do for a long time. And then I take my squeegee and I push the ink across the screen, and it goes down through the stencil opening onto the paper. And I get my first color. So I go through and I print all 60 sheets of paper and let them dry before I do the next color. Okay, we're getting ready to do the second color on the print. We did all these with the first color on there, and the second stencil, which is right here. It's just a little mountain scene. I've got my paper lined back up, my registration guides. Once again, just put a little ink on the screen. And push the ink across. And you've got mountains. Okay, so we're almost done with the second color. Last print. Okay, so we're getting ready to do the third color. Got my ink mixed up. Nice pretty shade of dark blue. And I put that on my screen. So that finishes up our edition of a new little print. There'll be about 50. Here you can see the steps that we took along the way, including kitty steps. Thanks for visiting Littledeer Studio.